Hello my viewers, welcome to another Hex Maniac Advance tutorial. This tutorial is basic number 8, creating and applying patches. This tutorial will be rather short as it will cover the difference between an IPS and a UPS patch, creating patches via Hex Maniac Advance, and applying existing patches to your ROM. In the background, I had Hex Maniac Advance's GitHub page open on my internet browser. More specifically, the releases page. By scrolling down, you can see all of the public updates that the developer has released to the public, but you should be using the latest version of Hex Maniac Advance, whichever one is at the top of this list. If you don't have the latest version of Hex Maniac Advance, download from one of these 3 items I have selected here. Your choice depends on your operating system and whether or not you want more detailed information on what Hex Maniac Advance is doing behind the scenes in case you want to report bugs. Just a reminder, in order for Hex Maniac Advance to run, you need .NET 6 desktop runtime, and I will have the site in the description. You will see a lot of installers you can download, but be sure to install the one that's under desktop runtime. That's the specific thing from .NET 6 that you need in order for Hex Maniac Advance to run. You will download an installer. After you download it, you will have to run it. Unlike my other tutorials, this one is going to look a little different because I'm going to use File Explorer a lot, so bear with me please. Hex Maniac Advance can work with 2 types of patches, IPS patches and UPS patches, and there are a few differences between them, at least for our purposes. So in the folder that's in the background, I selected these 2 patches. The main difference between an IPS and a UPS patch is that IPS patches are designed to make ROMs that are 16 megabytes or fewer, while UPS patches are required in order to get a ROM hack that is more than 16 megabytes from a clean ROM. Also, if I hover over both patches' file size, you will notice a significant difference. The UPS patch is really large and harder to upload to sites that have file size limitations, while the IPS patches are relatively small. Slightly unrelated, as you are progressing in the field of ROM hacking and watching other tutorials, I must stress the importance of making regular backups of your ROM. A disaster could happen and put your ROM into a bad state, and it would be unfortunate to have to start from square one because of that tragedy. Well, what you could do is make a backup via Hex Maniac Advance. Here's how to do it. First, click the File button. Then, click Export Backup. I realized I put this in a bad spot, sorry about that. Specify your most recent change you made to a ROM, and click OK. In this case, you will see a Backups folder pop up right away. When you open the Backups folder, you will notice the 2 files that were just created. The ROM itself and the toml file, which contains all the metadata that also needs to be backed up. So when you get a patch for a ROM hack from the internet, you need to apply it to a clean or vanilla ROM, basically the base version of Pokemon Ruby, Fire Red, Emerald, etc. First, have your clean ROMs open in Hex Maniac Advance, and I will first show you what you can do to make sure that your ROM is in fact clean. On screen, I'm showing you a list of SHA-1 hashes. Making changes to a ROM will change the SHA-1 value almost all the time. I will also have all of these pasted in the description. I'm going to highlight the SHA-1 hash for Pokemon Emerald. Back in Hex Maniac Advance, I have a clean version of Pokemon Emerald selected, and I'm going to go to File and click Calculate Common Hashes. As you can see, the SHA-1 hashes line up with what I showed earlier. I can reasonably infer that this is in fact a clean ROM. When you apply patches to non-clean ROMs, then you could run into issues that may not easily be trackable. This is especially the case if you have mismatched versions of Fire Red or Ruby. And you cannot use something like a Japanese ROM to patch a ROM hack if it was intended to be in English. Now I'm going to demonstrate making a patch of Pokemon ROWE with Pokemon Emerald as a base. I know for a fact that this is an Emerald hack, and if I scroll down, you will notice that this ROM is an expanded ROM, and one way to tell is that there is a 1 followed by 6 hexadecimal digits. So I right-click the tab for Pokemon ROWE, and notice that because I'm using an expanded ROM, the IPS patch option is grayed out. Make sure that the ROM directly to the right in Hex Maniac Advance is the right clean ROM. So Emerald in my case, and not Ruby. So I double-checked my setup, And now I right click again and click Make UPS Patch. The patch will be made instantaneously. Wait, no! It's the other way around! I just made a patch that makes a clean Emerald ROM from Pokemon ROWE. That's definitely what I don't want. Sometimes we easily overlook things and mistakes are hard to catch. I guess here's a reason why some patches might not end up working. So here, what you actually need to do is have the clean ROM on the left and your modded ROM that you want to make a patch of on the right. So I flip the two tabs. Upon clicking Make UPS Patch again, it creates the patch exactly how I want it to. Now I can share this with a friend, and they can patch a clean Emerald ROM to play Pokemon ROWE. Even though the Make IPS Patch button was not grayed out, clicking on it will not do anything because Pokemon ROWE is an expanded ROM. Now if I want to apply a patch onto a clean ROM, just have the patch open in File Explorer, and all you need to do is drag the file onto your open ROM in Hex Maniac Advance, and it will patch it automatically. Since I know and have played Pokemon Emerald Kaizo, I know one of the changes it makes to the ROM is what move TM32 teaches. So I'm going to show you that change to prove that the IPS patch worked. You could also play the ROM on your emulator to test whether or not the changes took effect. In order to keep your clean copy of Pokemon Emerald so that you can apply more patches in the future, do not save changes to your ROM. Alternatively, you can do File and click Save As, and you can save changes to your newly modded ROM and keep the clean ROM intact. Now I'm reopening the clean copy of Pokemon Emerald, and I'm going to show you its SHA-1 hash again and show you that it's not been tampered with all along. Lastly, I'm going to apply a UPS patch to a ROM. So I'm going to drag it like an IPS patch and... oops! A checksum failed, which leads me to assume that I'm not using the right clean ROM that this UPS patch was designed for. Play it safe and click the cancel button. I'm going to select the tab for the clean Pokemon Ruby ROM. This time the patch was applied successfully. Here's what some of the ROM data looks like after applying the patch. Alright, this is the end of the short tutorial on making and applying patches. Now you don't need multiple pieces of software that specialize in different types of patches if you want to apply patches to your ROMs. I hope that you'll put this tutorial to great use as you continue ROM hacking, and hopefully sharing ROM hacks with your friends. Patches, not ROMs, remember. As you're watching Pokemon Ruby Destiny gameplay, I'll take the time to let you know that you should join our Discord so that you can talk to other Hex Maniac Advance users, ask questions, report bugs, and get updates from the developer on their progression through Hex Maniac Advance. We hope you enjoyed this tutorial and other tutorials that I have made. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all soon. Take care!